Okay, in our last video, we did a comparison of some local language models running on the Jetson AAGX Thor with my discrete GPU in this PC, which is a 3090 Ti from NVIDIA. And one thing that we noticed is that while the smaller parameter model performed better and faster on the 3090 Ti, the higher parameter models had sort of the opposite effect to sort of a lower extent. For that reason, today I wanted to focus on the Jetson AAGX Thor again, but comparing the two Gpt-oss models that have 120 billion parameters and 20 billion parameters respectively, to see if there's any differences in the metrics that are produced from them. So using the same prompt that I had in the previous video, describe a day in a Roman villa, including food, clothing, and a hidden artifact in around 100 words. We're going to test both of them, and then depending on the results, we're going to try to explain why they are the way that they are, or maybe we won't be surprised, who knows. So we've got our results, and our number of tokens per second is actually 25.11 for a total of 223 tokens. It took 8 seconds for that inference. Okay, and now we're going to test the GPT-oss 20 billion parameter model with the same prompt. You can see already it's going pretty fast, perhaps a little bit faster than 120B. All right, and our results are 34.4 tokens per second for 1,284 tokens, and that took 37.322 seconds. And for good measure, we're going to run the same prompt with Llama 3.370B. So again, we've got two prompts here, just a simple hello and then a simple request using the same prompt to describe a day in a Roman villa. But again, we're barely breaking 5 tokens per second. Now let's look at the numbers and think about this and talk about why there's such a difference. So 3 LLMs walk into a bar. One of them is the Llama 3.3 70 billion parameter LLM. The other one is the GPT-oss 20 billion parameter model, and the other one is the GPT 120 billion parameter model. They are not performing the same. As we noticed in the last video, the Llama 3.3 70 billion parameter model on the AGX Thor can't seem to break through 5 tokens per second, despite the fact that there's more than enough unified RAM to handle the amount of parameters. It just seems to be a really dense model. The 20 billion parameter model, on the other hand, was achieving almost 35 tokens a second. So for the use cases that I'm looking at with this Thor, which is mainly creating conversational AI-driven robotics platforms, which is why I'm starting with language models, because that's going to be the basis for communication. This is conversational, 34 tokens a second. That's conversational. That's good for any type of AI conversational agents I've created using cloud computing or OpenAI's API. So that's pretty good. Then we have the 120 billion parameter model that's getting 25 tokens a second. That's pretty much conversational as far as we're talking in that respect. The difference, however, that's most striking is the fact that the 70 billion parameter model is woefully slower than both of them. So as you can see, the GPT-oss 20B is 7 times faster than Llama 3. And Even the largest GPT-oss model that we could fit on this device leaves Llama 3 far behind. So what about duration? That's the total time that it takes to produce a complete answer. According to these measurements, GPT-oss 120B completes output 166% faster than Llama 3, and this trend is consistent. The GPT-oss models not only spit out tokens quicker, but they also finish entire generations much sooner. Now, if we look at the duration, obviously the 20B model has a really long duration, but keep in mind its reasoning um, response was a lot longer and more detailed than OSS 120B for some other reason, which leads me to believe that GPT OSS 20B is a denser model compared to OSS 120B, which is quantized to 4 bits, which should be noted, and I'm going to get into that in a second. Okay, so what accounts for these differences? One of the first things that could be the largest factor is model architecture. The GPT-oss models seem exceptionally well optimized for throughput, especially on the AGX Thor hardware. Factors like parallelism, batching, software stack, they make a big difference, and GPT-oss clearly leverages these better than Llama 3. Another factor is model scaling. While larger models naturally require more computation, GPT-oss 20B shows that you don't always need a huge model for top speed. Sometimes smaller and smarter is just better for performance. An important note is that even after trying highly quantized models like the 70B parameter model with FPV4 on VLLM, the tokens per second for Llama 3.3 were still under 10 tokens per second. So this highlights that beyond a certain point, model to architecture and system integration outpace brute force and size or quantization. So in summary, if speed and latency matter to you, whether it's for real-time apps or scaling up user loads, GPT-oss 20B is the clear winner, with GPT-oss 120B also providing strong gains. Llama 3 obviously falls behind both on tokens per second and overall duration. But if you can run a lower parameter model that requires less utility of the unified RAM, especially for use cases like mine, where I'm creating robotic conversational agents, then going with the lower parameter model here seems to be the best for the use case, at least in my case. Let me know which metric matters most for you for any use case that you might think of. Leave a comment with your thoughts, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into AI performance.